Peace world, what's good? It's your boy Bless the Party Sparker. Here again, down here in the ATL that is. Yo, we in the biggest studio in Atlanta in this whole area. Patchwerk Studios. This is where the magic happens. I said it once, I said it before. Where like the biggest artists come to record, come to do all of their work. So, I'm here right now with the owner, Curtis Daniels the Third. How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. That's a good intro. I appreciate it.
No problem. That's what I do, man. That's what I do. So tell us a little bit about yourself first before we go into the whole patchwork deal.
Yeah. So, like you said, I'm Curtis. I'm originally from LA, from Carson.
Okay.
Went to Michigan State on a football scholarship. Got injured. Had a homie that was rapping, and I thought he was one of the most talented people on earth, which I still stand by.
Who is that homie, real
Raz
quick?
Kaz.
Okay.
Yeah, so
just
we
wanted to put that out there. See.
Yeah, we had Raz Kaz was one of the homies. He's from Carson. The name of the neighborhood that we grew up in is called the Patch.
Okay.
And before they built all the houses there, it used to be Cabbage Patch Field, so they're actually known as the Cabbage Patch Gangsters. So they bloods where we live at, and had another friend, mutual friend, Bob Whitfield. He had went to Stanford, got drafted by the Falcons, so he's the one that kind of really financed all our dreams. So I told him that one of the homies at home was rapping and he was dope, and Bob had this equipment, and he sent the equipment home, and we cut a deal for Raz, and kind of was naive, thought we was going to get a deal, and it didn't happen, so we started our own record label in '93, which was Patchwerk Records.
Okay,
And,
no doubt.
Yeah, we put Raz's stuff out, but
big up to Raz, by the way. We did an interview with him some years ago, but that's some family across the Fader fam right there.
Yeah, and so since then, when I was in college, man, I kind of stopped going home after my second year. Started coming up here for the Freaknik, man, and shit, and
as always,
and they convinced me to stay here, man. So we kind of, I think July makes 20 years for us, man. So we've been here doing recording, mixing, and mastering since July of '95.
That's crazy. That's crazy. So basically, it all started off with one MC that you guys thought would actually be that next move, right?
Yeah, Raz was. I didn't believe it was him when he played the cassette way back then. We was at my mom's house playing dominoes, and we just loved music. And I guess the ultimate reaction or thing that you can get out of us is like, we would use the expression, it was like, man, that dude is so dope that he made my eyes water. And literally when he was rapping, I was like, man, whoever this dude is incredible. I'm like, what? He said, what? And, he played like 2-3 records, and then he kept saying, and then he said, that's me. I'm like, man, that ain't you. It's me, man. I'm telling you, I've been writing and rapping. Like, that ain't you.
Wow.
And then he started saying the rhyme. So literally, I still think he's the best rapper lyrically. Ain't nobody that can mess with Raz.
Definitely, though. I can quote some lines for you, but this is more about you today. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, what made your transition from label to recording studio? Because there is a difference. A lot of cats really don't know the difference of what goes on behind the scenes.
Yeah. So we were doing again, it was us being young and naive, man. We really, we wanted to just cut some songs on Raz and have him signed to the biggest label, and that didn't happen. So by necessity, we formed a record label.
Okay.
And when we did the deal with Priority and we recorded his first album, we saw how much money we spent on the studio. And again, being young and about 23, 24, we like, man, we need to build our own studio so we can just record our own stuff. So Bob invested in the studio, and we that's how we did it. It wasn't nothing fancy. I tell people to today, man, we going on 20 years. We ain't never have a business plan.
Wow.
The cool thing about it is that it wasn't a gimmick. We never took any money from a record label. We're not, backed by a famous producer or artist.
Mm-hmm.
We cut our teeth. We've been 100% commercial facility since day one. So we actually know what we're doing. It ain't like we went and bought a pre-existing building and we some owners that didn't know nothing. We know where every screw is, where every nail is, where every wire is. We started it literally from the ground up, man. So it was I always tell people, it was a blessing to start in the smaller room, because if we would have had this room fail, we would have been failed. I needed time to learn and figure things out, and it ain't like I had anybody sitting in there teaching me anything.
That's real right there, man.
So we just started out of necessity, man, and our first project wasn't even Raz. The first project we worked on was Outkast with Elevators.
Really?
That was our first session. Yeah, we hustled them up Organized Noise were big Falcons fans, and they wanted to go to the game, and I had tickets. And I just basically, they wanted like 23 tickets to the game, and I said, I can get all of them, but whoever's going to the game got to come to the studio and pick them up themselves. And when they came to pick them up, I made them do a studio tour. We went to the game, Outkast, Goody Mob, PA, Society of Soul, TLC, everybody. And after the game, some of them left their cars at the studio, so they had to come back by the studio and they started recording,
We
man.
gonna make y'all come up here and record.
It was a hustle, man, but we got it done.
That's
Yeah.
real, man. That's
Yeah.
real. So, alright, this is a question that I know you probably get a lot. If you don't get it to your face, I'm sure you hear about it a lot. You know what I'm saying? What do y'all offer that somebody can't do at, you know, in their own home studio? Because, you know, you hear about cats producing in their closets and,
Yeah.
you know, all of this other stuff, and they buy Pro Tools and,
Yeah.
oh, I can mix and, you know, get everything down. So what do you do? What do you bring to the table that they're like, I can't do this?
So with the lowest common denominator is what you hear is they want that patchwork sound.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've had people come up from Carolina, DC, New York, and sit in, mix engineers with the client and sit there and just tell their clients like they've mixed the record 5 times but they can't get that sound. So literally what it was before back in the days that you weren't a real studio unless you had a 24 track machine, a tape machine.
Yeah.
And you needed 2 of them, and the studios were like $56,000 a piece. So you had $110,000 in tape machines where people couldn't put them in their houses, so you had to go to a real studio. With the Pro Tools and stuff, people start recording at home, but the difference is we have consoles in all of our rooms. We have SSLs. So it's kind of like, you know, like the real simple and dumb way to think about it, like I always tell people, I said it's like running.
Mm-hmm.
You might can train on a treadmill all day, right? And you think you're in shape, and then you take your ass out there and run on the track. You're dying because the running is real. All of the Pro Tools and the plugins are emulating the real thing, and nothing is like the real thing. So we've had focus groups where people come in and we don't tell them anything, and we play like about 12 different plugins versus the real, like the real Avalon and plugin, the SL plugin, and we didn't say anything, and everybody just said, "Man, this one sounds warmer, this one feels better." You know, it's more real. So we got the real stuff. We got a $1.3 million console sitting in one room, and we got a $460,000 console in the other room. And so if you think that your plug-in that you paid $1,200 is going to sound like the real SSL, you're kidding yourself. And so the thing about it is, you think about it, that's just one sound, one track. And if you got a song that got 24, 48 different sounds, you're building up that one sound, and you multiplying it. You can't really get it. And then the thing here is like everything's taken care of. When you're working at home, when the air conditioner comes on, the lights dim. When you plug in the vacuum cleaner, you hear the hum. When you're working in the closet, your room physically, the shape ain't proper. It's just like I tell people, you think it don't matter. If me and you was on the phone, or your friend was on the phone, and they walk in the bathroom, you can tell. You'd be like, you just walk in the bathroom. We can hear all that stuff on the vocals. And then the biggest thing is the people. We got professionals that this is what they do for a living. And we tell people, when you work here, like say if you did the recording, mixing, and mastering, you're probably going to have 3 different professionals listen to your music. You're going to have an engineer that all he does is recording, hear your vocals and record it. You're going to have a different mix engineer that if the vocal guy missed it, he going to pick it up. And then we got a whole different room. We're sitting in the mastering room. We got a different mastering where you working at homes. You got a dude that's producing the beat, recording it, mixing it, mastering it, shooting your video, and he on the song. You know what I mean? And so he ain't really a professional in it. So it's the people, it's the knowledge, it's the actually caring about it and taking pride in their work. Like it literally gets to the point, like if they do a record and we can't get the client to do it right, I'll see CDs where it don't have no engineer's name on it. Because they're prideful in what they put their names in, and they want to put a good product out there. So it's a couple things. The first thing is the people, and then it's the people's attitude, because they actually care. And then we got equipment that they don't have at home. And so it's funny you ask that, because a lot of times you never really get the answer. All we hear is people telling clients that they can do this at home. And then all I hear is the clients, after they spent money working with the homie, going to the other studio, and they can't get that sound, they finally already know why they're here. I'll be like, I don't know you, but I know your type, and I can tell you why you're here. You here because no matter what you did, when you play that song in your car, it will not shake that rear view mirror. It will not hit you in the chest. It just sounds like somebody blanging. And they be like, yeah, man, my stuff. When I play that Jeezy, that Rick Ross, that T.I., it sounds like King Kong is on the 808. When my stuff drop, it don't hit. So like I say, all the hype is cool, but if you can't hear the difference, they'll keep working at home. But eventually they try to do everything they can without working here. So when they get here and show up, we know what they're here for, and that's what we're trying to deliver. Yeah.
All right, so I'm glad you actually brought that up. Like, one of the key factors to your business and your success being your people, your engineers and all of that. Tell me what it is you look for. I don't know if you actually are in charge of the hiring process, but when you're looking for an engineer, like, what do you look for?
So I don't hire the engineers. Okay. I mean, my partner is an engineer, and then one of our engineers, D. Brown, he actually brings in our interns, and usually we pick people that come through our intern program.
Okay.
But as far as people,
remember that, y'all.
I usually, so here, like if you was to ask anybody, when people started, I always, back in the days when I had more time, I would make people read a book, and actually I came up with a quiz, and the book was called How to Win Customers and Keep Them for Life. And so the thing here is that, like always, if you was to ask anybody here, what do we sell? Most people would think we sell studio time, but they know and understand and been taught that we sell customer service. That's what we sell. We tell people that anybody can run out and get a console, anybody can paint their room, get these speakers, but what separate us are the people and the customer service. So generally when I'm looking for people, my almost first rule of thumb is no assholes, no assholes, no assholes. My thing is that, like, I always ask people what's more important, knowing where you're going or the people that's on the bus with you. And a lot of people think it's more important to know where you're going. To me, it's more important to have the right people on the bus. I always tell people you can know that you're going to, your favorite amusement park or club, but if you're on the bus with some people you don't like, you're not going to enjoy it. You can be on the bus with your 10 best friends and y'all ain't got to be going nowhere and you're going to have a ball. So my philosophy is get the right people on the bus first. And once we get the right people on the bus, with the right people, we can figure out where we want to go. We can do anything we want to do. We just together. So I always look for good people. I get people that hadn't worked anywhere else in the music industry for the most part. And because I just really don't want the bad habits. I'd rather you just not know nothing and we give it to you. And then, and so on. And so it's the same thing with the engineers. There's a certain amount of technical knowledge that they need to have, but even if they know everything and they're an asshole, we don't want to work with you, and we know your clients don't want to work with you. So we feel like we got good people here. Like when you walk in, you should just feel good. It should feel like a good energy, a good vibe. People want to be here. We don't want to bring a person in that ruins that.
Yeah.
So we just look for good people first. No assholes. Rule number one.
First rule.
Yeah. And then, we figure out what they know. And if they know enough, and then are they capable of learning? And that, that's really how we roll. Good people.
Okay.
Yeah, good people that care. You gotta care.
That's a big
factor. Because it's like the
now.
people that don't care, they don't care about the music. They don't have no standards. They just do anything. We always still say we putting up the fight. Like we literally turn down songs and lose money because it's not mixed right, and they'll take it somewhere else. And that mastering person will master it. We literally about 30 times a year, we don't do a session because it's not right. And then some of the clients run somewhere else. Some people be like, thanks for not just taking my money and do it. We give them the money back and be like, man, we can't do this. It's not right. Like, you know what I mean? You come, because the thing is you got to get what they coming to you for. They coming to us because they want a certain sound.
Okay.
You're not giving us what we need to deliver that sound. Like people think that we can save them. And if it's not done properly, like if it's bad all the way, it's the track is bad, it's an instrumental, it's not tracked out, it's not a WAV file. You let some guy record it in his closet, we can hear that with your chain shaking, headphone bleed and everything, and then your best friend mixed it. Now you thinking that all I got to do is go to Patchwerk and they gonna master it and it's gonna be a big record. It doesn't work like that.
So real quick, what is the process? What is the best process to follow? As say I'm an MC, I got a joint that I gotta get recorded, and I got a beat. That's it.
That's
as
fine.
far
Like
as I
so
go.
for us, we do a lot of stuff. Like we're set up where we can do any and everything per se, as it goes down to making a record. But then I always tell people you can jump in wherever you need help. You don't have to record here. You just need to be recording with somebody that know what they're doing and is paying attention what's going into the microphone. You know what I mean? So you want a good solid recording that's not clipping, that's not distorting. You know what I mean? Let us fix it. It don't need to be the only biggest thing that they can't do is they can't get rid of distortion. So if you recorded something that's too low, they can boost it up and it's gonna be fine. But if you got it too hot,
Yeah.
we can't do nothing. So most people just think loud, 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 and it doesn't work. So like ideally, like my thing would be is that if you were my son or daughter and you were an artist, I would say the first thing is pre-production. Find some music that you like and come up with some lyrics or something to the song. Now when you find the song, don't just get an MP3, don't just get a WAV file. Make sure you can contact the producer so that if you do come up with a hit record, they can send you a full session if you do want to get it mixed at some point. So I always tell people before you spend the money and download the beat, try to reach out to the producer and say, hey, I'm interested in this track that you got online and I'm thinking about taking it all away.
Yeah.
I don't know if I am, so I don't want to pay you for it, but if I do decide to do it, do you have this track available, right? And if they say yeah, cool. If they don't, why would you record to it? Like, that's my first thing. So make sure you can get the track, it's available, and then go somewhere where